Hello, welcome to another episode of Turf Without Borders. In this episode, we are speaking with Hazel Manarang, the Senior Golf Course Superintendent for Golforce Incorporated at the Orchard Golf and Country Club in the Philippines. Welcome to the show, Hazel.
Thank you, sir. Good morning here in the Philippines. Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
good morning from Thailand. Again, we have another guest who is in a similar time zone to me, so that is quite convenient for both of us. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me on the show.
It's my pleasure, sir. I will make time for this.
Thank you. So, how many holes are you managing there at the Orchard?
Well, here in Orchard, we have 36 holes. We
Okay,
have two courses here, yeah.
two courses. And how many rounds get played on those courses?
Well, on weekdays, we have around 300 players, and on weekends, we recorded up to 350 to 400 players for
And
both courses. Mhm.
so that's both courses combined, or that's uh,
That's combined.
okay.
Mhm.
So when did the course open?
Uh, the open days.
No, what year was like? How old is it? Is it 10 years
It's
old? A
around
hundred
25.
years old?
It's around 25 years, I think.
Actually, maybe a little bit older. It must have
Mm-hmm.
opened in the. When did it open? In the mid 90s, probably.
Yeah, I think it's the same with Southwoods, almost the same with
Yeah,
Southwoods.
it's
Mm-hmm.
got to be like almost 30 years now.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
When the golfers are teeing off, you've got 36 holes. Are they teeing off only on tee number one on both of the courses, or would they tee off on tees 1 and 10?
For the Palmer, they are teeing off on both tee number one and tee number 10. So it's double barrel. And for the player course, they are only required to tee on hole number one. So it's much better for the maintenance there in player course.
Yeah, that's kind of why I asked that question, because I wonder when they are teeing off on both 1 and 10, or what you call a double barreled start, what what's the first tee time, and then what time does your crew need to get there to start working in the morning?
Well, the tea time is around 5:10 a.m., but you know the players, they tee off earlier than that.
Seriously,
Yeah.
five? Seriously, five
Yeah,
ten in
yeah.
the morning?
But the club tends to adjust it. It depends on the sunlight and on the sunrise. If we adjust, the club adjust to it also. But as of now, it's 5:10, and our crew, they go to work, or we go to work at 4:30 a.m.
Oh wow! So you're just right in front of that first tee time.
Yeah, and here the first three holes, we have lights here, so the players oftentimes they tee off much earlier than 5:10. Around 5 o'clock, they have tee off already. Mm.
Wow, that's very early. That's extremely early.
Yeah, we
So,
have to move our feet there and really go ahead from the players.
do you have any maintenance closure days, such as Mondays, or any mornings, or certain times when the course is closed to allow you to do maintenance work?
That's the good thing with the club because they give us a day for maintenance day, and we get to decide. As the superintendent, get to decide what course should be closed on that week. So we are given option on what course to be closed. So I
S-
decide.
So you get one course 1 day per week can be
Yeah,
closed for maintenance.
yes, but it depends. Like this week, we had the Palmer course closed for 2 days, because we are doing some cultivation activities like the core aeration and verticutting on fairways and core aeration on the greens. So we decided or we requested for 2 days closure on Palmer course. Last week it was the player course that we have 2 days course closure.
For a special occasion for cultivation.
Yeah, we cannot do it in 1 day, so it's a good thing that the club allows close a course for 2 days.
How many staff do you have?
For golfers, we have 64 right now
So
in maintenance.
64 total across 36 holes.
Yeah, 64. Hmm.
And are those all full-time staff?
Yeah, uh, out of those 64, 10 crew are operators, 3 are irrigation, and then 2 mechanics. I mean, 2 are Fert and Chem, 6 are greenkeepers, and 6 uh, utility for a course. That is for one course. So in a course, it's 27 crew.
And
So times 2.
and your job title is senior golf course superintendent. Explain what a senior golf course superintendent for Golforce is, but then you're assigned to the Orchard Golf and Country Club. Can you tell me about your job title and who you report to?
Well, senior superintendent means that's the first thing.
I did not catch that. The sound was breaking up. Can you repeat that?
Well, for being a senior golf course superintendent, is it clear now, sir?
Yeah,
Sir,
it's clear now.
yeah, because this should be clear. Because the first thing is, I'm a senior golf course superintendent because I'm old already.
We've been in this
I'm
business a
old
long
in,
time.
yeah. That's the first category for a senior superintendent.
Okay, we get
20 to
respect
25
for being,
years.
yeah, we get respect for being of a certain age. So
Yeah.
but you work for Golf Force. So can you explain to the people listening what that means?
Well, Golforce Incorporated is a company that works in the maintenance and development of golf courses, and we do contracts. We do uh, several contracts for maintaining golf courses. So right now we are with with connection with First Orchard Golf and Country Club, the Forest Hills, Sherwood Hills, um, Fairways and Blue Waters,
Oh
and
yeah.
Splendido Golf and Country Club. So,
Nice. I've
mhm,
been to most of those. For those listening, Fairways and Blue Water is a lovely golf course on the island of Boracay, which
yeah.
must be one of the best beach islands in the world.
Mhm.
Do you ever have responsibilities that take you away from the orchard and go to help out at any of the other golf course managed
Yes,
courses?
yes. Actually, that's one uh, work of a senior superintendent to help the other courses, the junior superintendents, on their works and teach them, uh, the works of the in the golf courses. So now I visit Puerto Azul
Okay.
in Ternate. So it's another golf course that we maintain. And then sometimes I visit to the other courses like Splendido and in Forest Hills, some site visits and help them as well.
Are there other senior golf course superintendents with Golf Force, or are you the only one?
Right now, I'm the only one. The other senior superintendents, they went to another company. Mhm.
That's that could be a big job for you. So um, who do you? So when you're assigned to the orchard, so you take care of the orchard, you help out at the other projects, but as far as the orchard goes, do you report to somebody from Golf Force, or do you report to uh, the orchard? How does it work in terms of who your boss is, basically?
Well, I have several or many bosses. So here in Orchard, my bosses are of course the president and the general manager, the golf director, and uh, the agronomy supervisor. So I have those four bosses here in Orchard for the works in Orchard. And as senior golf course superintendent of golf course, I report to our president in golf course, Mr. Rodel Resuelo.
So you report to all kinds of people. You mentioned an agronomy supervisor at Orchard. Is that like a committee member? Would that be something like a green committee chairman, or who would that be?
It's an organic from Orchard, manager from Orchard. hmm It's a group, a team. Like it's like a team of agronomists in Orchard.
But you're in charge of taking care of the golf course.
Yeah, but the club team that golfers, since we
So
are contractors in Orchard. So there's a team in Orchard that oversees our works, the contractors, so that the club could assure that we are doing our job
well, yeah,
in
that
Orchard.
okay. That sounds like a good job for the staff at Orchard to just supervise the contractor, so that they don't
Mhm.
have the responsibility for it. They just supervise what you're doing.
They don't actually dictate or supervise because as the uh, superintendent, we are the experts in the turf, so they just double check our work, if that's the
Cool.
right term.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we won't belabor that point, uh, but that is interesting. Um, what grass types are you managing?
Oh, so there are so many varieties here in Orchard. You went here, sir. You know it
I
yourself.
I know, but I want to share it with with the
Yeah,
people who are listening to the show.
yeah. From the Palmer alone, there are several. For the greens, it's Tifeagle, and then for the fairways, it's 419, and fairways and tees. But we are now converting it to zoysia, so you can see a lot of zoysia patches already on the fairways and on our tees. And for the roughs, it's carabao. But before, way back before, it was 419. They're telling me that it's 419, but ever since I came here in Orchard, it's already carabao,
And
the native grass.
yeah, so carabao grass. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I will try to explain this uh, for the people who aren't familiar with it. It's it's native grass. It's coarser bladed. It tends to be dominated by Exonopus compressus, which is tropical carpet grass, but it will often have mixed in with it something called sour grass or hilo grass, which is I believe paspalum conjugatum, and
Yeah.
so it's a type of paspalum that has a leaf blade that's very similar to tropical carpet grass, but not as shiny. And in the Philippines, that's what's referred to as carabao grass, and carabao is a water buffalo. And it's the type of grass that you would have in agricultural fields that are wet, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for the player course, it's paspalum, CIL 2000. The fairways and tees are 419 slash Zoysia, and the roughs are Carabao.
Okay, thank you. As for the zoysia, both of these courses, when it was planted 25 or 30 years ago, it was planted to 419. And then you're mentioning that you're transitioning to zoysia or changing to zoysia. Are these a particular variety of zoysia, or is it the native zoysia that just sprung up there?
Uh, there are native Zoysia that are just existed there, but we are incorporating. Matrela zoysia now.
Okay. And so is this a Mantrella that you're growing on site or you're buying it from somewhere?
We made a nursery out of Matrela. We bought it from the local suppliers outside, and we made our own nurseries here so that we can spread it. Um,
Okay. So you're using a native Philippine Mantrella zoysia.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for everybody out there, the common name in English for Zoysia matrella is Manila grass. Manila, of course, is the large city and capital of the Philippines, and the largest city in the Philippines. And so Zoysia matrella is a very native grass to that area. So I quite like playing off of it. Let's see. All right, I'm going to bring Hazel back.
I'm back. I don't know what
Hello.
happened.
Well, yeah, that's all
Mhm.
right. This happens to me on on my computer all the time. So we were just talking about the grass types. So that is that is Sea Isle 2000 on the player course on the greens, and
Mhm.
Tifeagle on the
Palmer.
Palmer course on the greens. That that is interesting to manage. And when I ask you about some of the nitrogen rate questions and mowing heights and stuff, maybe we'll get into some of those differences.
Mhm.
But first, let's go back to the golfers. I've got a question for you. What is the number one complaint that you hear from golfers?
Now, it's always the bunkers. It's hard, and there are exposed liners. But we are now doing some renovations on our bunkers. Actually, so we are on already on half of it, renovating the bunkers,
Are you
and
putting
then
new
mhm,
sand?
yeah, we are putting new sand, silica sand that we order from way back north of the Philippines. Hmm.
What nitrogen rate do you use?
The rate it's different from Palmer greens and player greens. From in Palmer we use 7 pounds per year a year, and in player course, since it's paspalum, we use lower rates of nitrogen, around 4 to 5 pounds only per year. It doesn't need much nitrogen actually.
So to translate that into metric units, on the Tifeagle, they're putting about 350 kilograms per hectare or 35 grams per square meter. And then on the paspalum, they're putting, you said 4 to 5 pounds?
Yeah, yeah,
So that's
only.
200 to 250 kilograms per hectare. And keep in mind, this is in a tropical climate where their warm season grass growth potential is over 80% every day through the year, basically. So
Mhm.
if you consider what this would be in a climate where grasses would go dormant in the winter, you can cut those numbers in half or cut those numbers down by some percent. And so you
Mhm.
realize that in a tropical climate for a mature golf course of this age, this is the type of nitrogen rate that is working on those greens. How about the
Mhm.
fairways? The fairways aren't sand capped, are they? So what do you, how much nitrogen do you have to put on the fairways?
It's lower, around 2 pounds per year only. We just fertilize the fairies twice a year. One granular, it's usually before the major tournament. We do that. We time it before the major tournament. And the other one is foliar application, like what we did this week and last week. We applied foliar nitrogen on the fairways after we aerated and verticutted the fairways.
So you've got zoysia. The zoysia grass thrives with that much nitrogen, I suppose, growing in soil. The
Mhm.
Bermuda grass probably could use some more if you were trying to really encourage Bermuda grass, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
Hmm.
So that's about 100 kilograms per hectare on fairways. How about mowing heights? Wait.
Mhm.
The rough. Does the rough go completely unfertilized?
Yeah, no, Carabao doesn't need to be fertilized. It's so
Yeah, it grows more than you want it to
yeah.
without fertilizer. Okay.
Mm.
How about the mowing heights? What type of mowing heights do you use?
For the greens, you can in Palmer. So as you can see, it's really different from Palmer to Player. In for the Tifeagle, we tend to mow it up to 2.6, 2.8 to 2.6. If we have major tournaments, we can reach up to 2.6 millimeter. But now, since we are sodding, we have sod on the greens. We are now at the cutting height of 3.6 millimeter.
Why do you have sod on the greens?
Because of contaminations, we are removing soysha and paspalum contaminations right now on palma greens.
Taking it out of the Tifeagle with sod.
Yeah. Mhm.
And
And
then
then on player greens, it's 2.8 millimeter now. But we tend to play it 2.8 to 3.4 millimeters.
so these in thousandths of an inch, we're talking about something like point 0.1 up to 0.125
Mm-hmm.
inches. Now, you said last week you did coring or cultivation on the player course. This week you've done it on the
Palmer. Mhm.
Palmer. In 1 year, how how many times would you do coring, and what times of year do you do that?
Here in the Philippines, it's a standard to do it once a year. The On the fairways, the core aeration and verticutting. But in orchard, the management is very happy with the core aeration, the results of core aeration and fairways. So they requested from us to core aerate the fairways twice a year. So that's included in our contract. So we do core aeration twice a year. But the verticutting, we just do it once a year.
And then on the greens,
On the greens, we do it twice, core aeration. But we have several uh, solid tine aeration.
would the solid time be once a month, or
Sometimes we do
how?
it one on the rainy season. We sometimes we do it once a month, and then on summer we do it bi-monthly.
And the coring, so you're doing coring in May, which is the end of
Mm.
summer, or have you reached the rainy season yet, or not quite?
Not yet,
Okay,
not yet. That's
so
why
it's
we
hot.
do it in April and May before the rainy season. We are preparing for the rainy season.
And then when is the second time that you'll core the greens?
The second time should be around November. But since here in Orchard, November is the month of the major tournament, so we cannot do it in November. So uh, the next schedule is December, but it's the season for golfers, December. So we do it January.
Oh wow! So
Mhm.
you do like right after the new year, and then you do it again in April
May.
or May.
May, yeah. Mhm.
Okay. How much sand would you put on the greens in 1 year?
In a year, around in a year, it's around 500 cubic of
And
sand in a year.
and that's across both courses.
Yeah. Cubic
And do you,
meter.
and do you know
Uh,
the Do you know the total green area?
The total green area is 6 acres for the two courses.
So you use 500. You buy 500 cubic meters of sand that's
Yes,
to be used for top dressing,
yes,
and you put it over 6 U.S. acres.
yes.
Thank you. I can work out how much that is, but I'm not going to do it while we're live on the
Mm-hmm,
air.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So is that mostly going into the greens when you're doing the aeration, or are you also dusting the greens with sand through the year?
Yeah, uh, when we do aeration, we use around 50 cubic meter of sand, and then we dust it a week after. Around we in dusting the greens, we use around 18 to 20 cubic meters of sand, and then in between of those core aerations, we also do dusting.
So in 1 year, how many times would the greens get dusted, would you say?
In a year, around 5 to 6 times.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
you do two aerations and then 5 or 6 additional
Mm-hmm.
top dressing events.
Yeah, dusting.
What is the irrigation water source?
The irrigation is also different. For the Palmer course, it's just surface water, running water from the creeks. We get it from there uh, with no filtration. So you can just imagine the smell of the water that we use. But the turf can thrive from that. And for the player course, it's deep well water. It's a clean water.
Okay, and the reason why the creek water is a bit polluted is because it's coming from a nearby village where it may be getting some overflow sewage or overflow wastewater, and so it probably has a varying amount of salt and nutrients in it.
Yes, sir. Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
But it's it's a good source of water. It's really flowing, so we have to make use of it. And then the other course, actually the player course, since it's from the deep well, during summer, uh, we don't water the rafts there in player course. So the rafts, you would see it as dry and yellow, discolored. The only green color in player course are the greens, fairways, and tees. So that's
nice. That's a good
what's
look.
different. Hmm.
That's a good look. I forgot to ask for the staff, and you said you've got 27 people per course. How is that broken down in terms of men and women? I suppose you have men and women working on the crew, don't you?
Yeah. For us, for a course which has 27 crew, only 6 of them are girls. They are the greenkeepers.
Okay, so what job responsibility does a greenkeeper have?
So first, they take care of the greens. They weed the greens, and then they detail the landscapes. They are responsible also for the detailing of the bunkers, and then the fairways, the weeding of the fairways.
So they're not equipment operators.
No, and small tools. No, they just weed, clean, and do the details on the course.
And you have six
Per
six
course.
women per course, so total
Yes.
of 12 greenkeepers. Is this a unionized crew?
No, no.
It's so there's
Yeah.
not a employee union.
No, there is not. None here.
Okay.
Mhm.
What brand equipment do you use?
Mostly.
If
Mhm.
or do you use everything?
Here you can see red, color red equipment.
So
So
mostly Toro.
yeah, mostly Toro. Yeah, but
And it
For the tractors, we have Jacobsen, orange. So mostly the colors here are red and orange, but
Okay.
red is dominant.
And are these equipment owned by the club or are they owned by Golf Force? How does that work?
These equipment are owned by the club, so that's indicated in our contract that they will provide the equipment that we will be using. But we provided only three equipment, rotary equipment. So that's our agreement with the club.
What are the three main pests that you have to deal with there or worry about?
Again, sir.
The three main pests, such as do you
Pest.
worry about, for example, dollar spot or
Mm,
goosegrass, like the specific insects, diseases, weeds, weather, typhoons? What in your mind are the three big challenges that you would face in the management at the orchard?
First, the grubs.
The grubs. Okay.
Yeah, the grubs. So I closely monitor the grubs. For the insects, it's the grubs. And for the
Is that year round?
no, I have tracked the grubs here. It's twice a year. It's on this month, July and September.
Do you happen to know which species of insect is causing those grubs?
White grubs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you just know it's
Uh,
a white grub, but you don't know beyond that what the
that's
specific beetle is that's laying those
no,
eggs.
no, not.
But you're saying that they come in July and September.
Mm-hmm.
So they happen when it rains. When it's dry, you don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my observation with the grubs here, their incidents. So what we do here is we go ahead with our preparations for them so that we can control them earlier.
Okay.
And mhm. And then for the diseases, it's the uh, for it's always the player course, the paspalum who is sickly or always have disease. The Tifeagle, we seldom have disease with our Tifeagle here. It's the paspalum, and it's both the culvolaria and dollar spot for
So
paspalum beans.
so mostly it's some foliar diseases that
Mhm.
cause problems on the paspalum. And even in the rainy season, you don't have uh, challenging diseases on the tiff eagle.
In Tifeagle,
Yeah.
no, barely we have disease in our Tifeagle here. But we have recorded, or I have recorded that during this month, May, before years way back, they have incidents of Bermuda decline. But since we are timing our um, fungicides for that, so we don't experience it anymore during these months. And then after that, seldom does the teeth eagle have disease. It's always the paspalum grains on the player that we have to closely monitor the disease.
And you irrigate it with well water that doesn't have a lot of salt in it.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, paspalum can be a tricky one because
Mm,
it seems that when it gets irrigated with saltier water, that might suppress some of the diseases. But when you irrigate it with nice water and then you expose it, especially in a tropical environment,
mm.
which the Philippines or that part of the Philippines certainly is, there's a lot of disease pressure on paspalum. All right, so we've got grubs and we've got diseases primarily on the paspalum. Do you have another pest you want to tell us about?
For weeds, it's always the goosegrass here. The goosegrass. The other weeds we can manage it. We were able to manage that, but the goosegrass we are always on our feet. Uh,
Do you think that goosegrass is a perennial or an annual in the Philippines?
it's perennial. Hmm.
It's perennial. So um, people in cooler climates think of goosegrass as an annual plant, but in a tropical environment, I would certainly think of it as a perennial plant
Yes, yes.
because it's just always there, and you don't see the plants die after they seed. They if they do, I certainly haven't noticed it.
Hmm.
Would you can
Especially that we have caraba rafts. So some of the goosegrass seeds are embedded on those carabao rafts. So that's why they're always there. Mhm.
would you consider this job to be a trade or a profession?
It's a profession, of course.
Did you study at UPLB?
Yes, get from the University of the Philippines in Las Bañas also.
So
Mhm.
that's the leading agricultural university in the Philippines. And so do you have a degree in agriculture or horticulture or
Yes,
forestry?
I am in Agriculture, major in horticulture.
Good. Me too. My Bachelor of Science is also in horticulture.
Mhm.
And now to move away from the work and the grass management at work, is there a hobby that you have or an interest, something that our listeners would be interested to know about you beyond what you do with your work?
Well, it's sports. I play volleyball on my vacant time. So I always go back to my first love, volleyball.
Especially volleyball. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm trying to imagine how much free time you can have if you are the senior golf course superintendent for Golforce, and so you're helping the junior superintendents at multiple facilities, plus you're responsible for the 36 holes at the orchard. That sounds to me like a lot of work. Do you work 5 days a week, 6 days a week? How does that actually work out?
We are required to work 6 days a week. Yeah, and sometimes if it's my day off, I also work. So I have my laptop in our house, and sometimes I just the laptop keeps on calling me on my
Yeah.
day off, so I just have to open it and do some stuff that I think I can work on because I don't want to waste time.
Yeah, I can imagine. But yeah, when you get in this kind of role, there are a lot of responsibilities that you have, and it's not quite the same with being able to take a day off and really be completely off.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Hazel. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this episode and for sharing the information about how you're managing grass at the Orchard Golf and Country Club in the Philippines.
Thank you, Sir Micah. It's my pleasure to be here and talk with you.
Yes, it is my pleasure to talk with you, and I know when it's airification week, you are very busy, and I'm so grateful that you could take the time to join me. Thanks
Mhm.
everyone for watching, for listening. I will sign off now for ATC from Trang, Thailand. I'm Michael Woods. Bye bye.